Good evening. This is Ken at Tortoise Capital. We're going to do our stream of consciousness on the 60 swing charts. So everything is daily charts. This is a combination of the Dow 30, the ETF 30, and a few specials. In some cases, there are some leveraged ETFs in there that I'm not doing swings on, but I use those for executing intraday, but they're on my stack. So Alcoa, just where we are, we identified that yellow support level below the belly of the dragon. We had taken advantage of the short side opportunity after the gap up and then fail. And then when we got the RLXD, we got long and exited Friday. You're going to see a lot of exits on Friday on things where we were in the money, but I was trying to raise cash and reduce risk. You'll see my intraday notes on that from Friday. And probably am conditioned by my day job of teaching military strategy and tactics and logistics, and so I tend to focus on those headlines quite a bit. And being within 10 minutes of going to a shooting war with Iran certainly affected my psychology. So there were some intraday opportunities, but I also took that chance to reduce about 75% of my exposure on swings, especially on those where I've was in the money, to raise cash, preserve profits, and be able to focus on getting the big indexes right and volatility. And then I wanted to be flat over the weekend because of the potential for further shenanigans. So that's the story in Alcoa, and more generally in the other symbols. So Apple, um, two positions in. This was the reinforcement. Failure to fail, found support. That's a pocket. So this was the like the NRLXD and pocket entry. It's closed weekly. This is where I'm going to be. Um, um, is right below any weakness below Friday's price action, or really the last 3 days, and I'm out. Hopefully, if it gaps against me, I don't get smoked on the second position. But conversely, if it goes up through this green line, then I'm going to be good to go. Just for those of you that use TC2000, a nice technique because it can be a little painful um, marking up charts all the time. So if you just want a standard green line, if you hit edit, apply to all positions, and then save position by screen position, you'll have a bunch of lines at the top that you can then drag and drop and move around and save yourself a bunch of clicks. So when you see those on my charts, that's what that is. So that's where we are in Apple. AXP, this is one where one entry, second entry, I'm going to do the same thing. Um, this was like the strongest sector in the finance area, and so I stayed longer than I really wanted to. Um, but I felt like I had room to break even on the second position, was in the money on the first one. But I'm moving that stop to like a 2 day low below the RL10. Not going to give it much room to fail on me. Boeing, long. I'm going to bring a stop down into here again. That second position I didn't put in because Boeing has been weak because of those harsh sell-offs, and I've got Dow exposure. So I'm going to have the stop at the 2 day low. That's going to be sort of a standard practice. It's either going to be a 2 day low or a 1 day low on the things that I decided to carry. Caterpillar long, second position on the pocket reentry, moving that stop up into here. I think I'm going to add, if we see any kind of strength up above here, I like that because then we're going to get a move back up um, to the top of the dragon. So just so you can, I want to start putting that price target in general up here. So I'm going to do edit. And as you know, purple is my price targets. We'll do line thickness a little bigger. Apply to all positions, save position by screen. There we go. So now you should see that purple line in the future. So I'm going to put that like right on top of the that dragon, the dragon hump right there. So I'm looking for 140, almost 142 out of that one. Cliffs, natural resources, one position, two position. I was late getting out of this one. It's normally pretty volatile. So those one days, I usually like to see the second day of weakness. So I got the second day of weakness. It came back to the 200. As part of the um, war concerns, you know, went ahead and took that exit there. Campbell Soup. There was some news, and I was reading a newsletter, and it talked me into being interested. And so I tried it. I was late getting in, and then it started failing, so I just got out. I don't normally follow it, but it's on my radar now, and I want to get some money out of this, so I'm just miserable that way. So now I'm looking at this like a 4-day consolidation area in here, and now I'm going to play that like a bracket, like a universal entry. So I'm ready to play that one in either direction, and we'll just put that blue line there to say that we're stalking it. Okay. Cisco, I just can't trade this one very well. Tried long, had a nice position, chased myself out. Didn't. I was bitter because I missed preserving, and so I didn't take the short. And then I set 1, 2, 3, crossed the dragon. Tried it, same pattern, basically a scratch. Third time on Friday, I went ahead and just locked that one in, and just to get over my bitterness on giving up too much on those two trades. And that's also part of that. Just preserve capital. This is timber. 1, 2, 3. Cross the dragon. Enter the usual way on the pocket and continuation. I like it. I'm going to move this stop up into. I want to lock in that second gain. So let's put that right below that almost like a 2-day low. And then on the upside, I'm looking for a return to the 200. Okay, which also coincides with that hump of the dragon. So that looks pretty good. Chevron was one of those. The volatility and the energy was out of control. So we had one pocket went up and pulled back. So I went ahead and just closed that position out for a gain on two scoops. Same thing on DIA. Now that's been a really good trade, and we're also working at in UDOW for the triple, but just that was an exposure I didn't want any more of, so we just went ahead and took that one in here. Disney, same thing. Cross the dragon, bought the pocket, 1, 2, 3 and out, and there was no compelling reason to get in, and I would rather be short the indexes than individual stocks. The 3 times industrial bull. I haven't been trading this one, but I'm thinking about it as a way to start getting more juice when I'm studying the XL series anyway. So this is a case where I think I'm going to start looking at this as a swing possibility. That when I like XLI, then maybe I will execute in DUSL. So I'm still working on this one as a strategy. Haven't implemented it. Devon Energy, same thing as the energy sector. 1, 2, cash into the doji and reduce risk. Euro dollar, tried long, scratched a fractional loss. 1, 2, 3, re-entered, gave back too much. Long a second one, and we're gonna move this stop. I think I'm gonna be like right up underneath that. Underneath, halfway up that big white candle. Mexico has been good intraday, but the swing is I just feel out of step with this one. A loss on this one, stayed too long. Should have been out here. Then the big gap down, 1, 2, 3, entered. Mexico will do that. I like that it was holding north of the dragon, but when it started selling on Friday, plus all that news, and I'm out down around in here, want to reduce that risk. Brazil had the one, add the second position, captured that one pretty well. I'm pretty happy with that. Happy with the re-entry, and this was the exit on Friday up in here. I'd had my stop below here, and then just intraday just decided to peel that off. Facebook, I mean, I hate Zuck face, but 1, 2, and cash the gift, long and fractional loss and flat. 1 in cash, re-entered, and then just, I'm sorry, this was a long in GE, a second position in here, and then cashed in that same day. Just couldn't stick in, and then I've been just ignoring it now for 2 days, waiting to see what happens in the indexes. Gold, in the usual way, added a second position. This was a gift, and it was working intraday nicely. I decided to hold, and then I just didn't know what to do with gold, and I had 3 positions, which is larger than normal, and I just wanted to cash it while I could and think about it over the weekend. We'll see the same thing in silver here in a minute. Goldman Sachs just won, and I like that, and I'm bringing this stop right in here. Any weakness, I just want to make this a winning trade, and if it gets above the 200, I'll add. I'm not ready to short this though. Home Depot, perfect. One pocket continuation and expansion, and then selling into Friday's anxiety. I'm really happy with that one. Let me go back to this. So what I got to do is, now that I'm out of that, if we get any kind of relief rally, then I would probably bracket something like this. I'm not going to go short that because that's the strongest stock in the strongest index, but I'll go long here, and if I do, then the stop would be right there. But if I'm going to go short, I'll pick something that's weak and failing. IBM, long one. We'll bring this one right up underneath here and keep that locked in. Doing some housekeeping here because you gotta, when you start adding those lines to every chart, sometimes they get in the way. So there we are. So we're long one. I think I will add a second one. Again, if we get no bad news and tech resumes, IBM is a natural leader, so I would add north of that. This one was Latin America tactical trade, cashed, re-entered, cashed into Fridays, and this one just irritated me. So it had the doji and then gapped down, and I just went ahead and got out at the low of the day, right at the open, and then missed the follow through. But there you are. That's not one that I would have held over the weekend anyway, but maybe a little mad to see it run away. Intel, we had been short and covered. Was late getting into this entry, and it's holding right there. I'm going to have my stop just below the dragon. There's still room for that to go, and if tech works, Intel should do better. So I think, yeah, that's about where we want to be. The Russell has been the weak U.S. index, but we got long in the usual way and then cashed it into the anxiety on Friday up in this area here. So that's what our trade capture looked like. I would be ready to short this one because it's been weak. So if we get any kind of weakness, that will be a priority target for shorting. And if I short that, then it would probably have a stop like right around there. On the upside, though, if it gets above that line, I'm ready to go long as a trader. Okay. And I hope that doesn't move every price target on every chart. We'll see. IYR, this was that real estate long. It cashed in the usual way. 1, 2 long. And I'm going to move my stop up in here to like a 2-day low. And at fair value, that's in Johnson & Johnson. JP Morgan, financial sector has been weak. This has been horrible. Tried long, stayed for 10 days, nothing, dead money. If I get short the financial sector, it'll be with the index with FAZ, which is the triple leveraged financials. Coca-Cola, been studying it, just haven't been trading it. Um, I missed that whole bull move. I feel dumb, but there we are. I took the gift in McDonald's, and then it's been dead money, so I'm just observing. Uh, Marijuana tried long, scratched, nothing going on in here. This is still speculative, early days in that, and I might bracket something like this with the idea of fair value coming back to the RL270. Oh, that's moving that. Well, that's not a good thing. Oh, I see. Yeah, it keeps it on the every symbol. Okay, so we're long 3M and just staying that way. Move my stop up here to 2-day low. Two positions in Merck and then cashed on the weakness on Friday. Two positions in Microsoft cashed on the week. So that's one where I'll get long again on this one if it has any kind of, if the market has any kind of goodness. We were 2 scoops short in Neo, stopped and reversed and scratched on Friday. Nike, I missed that whole move. I thought strongly about, on that big gap up, and it was over the 270, and I was gonna get long on this one, but the general anxiety on Friday kept me out of that. But that was, if it hadn't been for that news, I probably would have gotten long there. Same thing on Pfizer, 2 scoops and covered, and I just missed the entry on Wednesday. In the background, you might be able to hear the flash floods that are going off. So Procter had 3 scoops long, cashed this one on the second day of weakness, got long. I'm going to move my stop up here to just below that purple line there. Yeah, like the 1-day low, just to be a scratch. The Qs, I can't trade that one very well. I don't know why. Mental block. I trade XLQ okay, and things like Intel and IBM. The Qs, I just can't do that very well. But I'm observing it for patterns. Schlumberger, we're 2 scoops long. I'm going to bring my stop to the 1-day low. Silver, cash the gift. Scratched the semiconductors, missed the reentry. Waiting to see. I'll play this one with technology rather than trying to get short that one yet. But I think I would get long if it can break above that, where that previous PSAR was, and above the RL90. And then my target on that would probably be something like that. Looking to get back to the top of the dragon around 117. That's the market health check. You've seen that before. A couple bites in treasuries. This really surprised me. The sell-off on Friday. I didn't understand it, so I just got out. It didn't go along with the narrative of rising anxiety, and I'm not sure if this is foreigners selling treasuries for some reason, like they want to stand aside. They don't have confidence in the U.S. if we do get in a shooting war. So instead of acting like a flight to quality and safety, it had the opposite effect, which was part of the unusualness of the markets. And some of the old heuristics, frankly, are just starting not to be as useful anymore. So you got to really be anchored to data and let the math do the talking and trade the patterns and not the heuristics. I think we got to emphasize more of that evidence-based approach. Cash the gift in Travelers, the 2 scoops in the usual way, and then that was harvesting. Tesla had 2 scoops and harvested it in the usual way. That was a good tactical trade. I think there's more upside to that one. And the fact that it was able to close with a white candle on Friday, even though it had gapped down, is still looking favorable. So I'm thinking I want to do something like, if there's no bad news in the market, then buy that breakout or get short on a breakthrough of the dragon. So I'm ready to go on that one in either direction. Let's clean this crap out of the way. Okay. So I think that's the way I'm looking at that. And then the longer term target, I'll anchor that to the top of the dragon right here. Let's see if that de-anchor. No, I just eliminated that purple line everywhere, so you can't have it all. What I'll do later is go back and add individual lines of that little segment, like a red, blue, a red, green, and a purple one to all the charts. This is the triple leveraged inverse Russell. UDOW, I'm like tactical trading that one. So that my technique on that one was get out on Friday because of the possible pain. Natural gas, I tried long, as noted in the last one. 2 day low scratch. Got short when it came through the belly of the RL10 collapsing dragon, and just cashed in the stability there on Thursday. That was a big move down, and I just wanted to cash to make up for that first loss, which is irrational, but there it is. It helps me get through the day. Now, this little doji is pretty interesting. So I think we got to do something like this. It's in a critical state. It had a higher low, and people were willing to hold that price over the weekend. So I think we want to bracket this thing, and we're going to take that in either direction and just go with it. It's poised to make some nice moves. UNH, I just haven't been able to trade it. I trade the XL series. Tried long in the dollar yen and scratched, but I didn't get the short. I'm not proficient in currencies yet. I'm still learning to acquire that. So I'm long the euro dollar. But this one I didn't stop and reverse. Oil, Thursday I bought the gap up. I'm holding. I think that's likely to see some gains this weekend with the news being what it is. So let's clear that out. I think I'm going to have my stop probably 2 day low. UTX I've been unable to trade. VIX intraday only. Basically a scratch on Verizon after the RLXD, nothing. 3 scoops long on Walmart, and it performed really well on Friday. So maybe the one thing you can count on. So I think to lock in those 3 positions, what I got to do is something like this, and I'm willing to take maybe the middle of the dragon with Walmart. I'm all over the place with Wheaton. I just have not been really good on the last 2 sets of trades. So I felt good because of this swing. I tried long and cashed pretty quick. Tried long and cashed on Friday. This was another one that didn't make sense to me. Gold and silver weren't bad on Friday, but you didn't see the runaway flight to quality. And much like treasuries, kind of the opposite was happening, and so I just decided not to carry that one over the weekend. I'm still net positive for all 3, but this is I just feel clumsy in that one. Those very narrow, illiquid commodity stocks can be tricky. Yeah, that's an understatement. So when we had 2 scoops long and covered, bought the RLXD crossover, still good to go. Clean this up. I'm going to have my stop down here at the 2 day low, and I'm looking for a return to probably this resistance level here. That's what I'm looking at. I would think about adding a 3rd position up here, and my target is here. U.S. Steel, we're long one. I got to get a 2 day low stop in that one. Let's say the middle of the dragon. I like that. Materials, we had 2 scoops long and just cashed it on Monday. I'm just waiting to see. Yep, just standing aside. Long one energy, and we're going to move that stop up a little further to about here. I think that's one that's going to work. Basically scratched financials. Their lack of movement is troubling. Industrials, 2 scoops, cashed it in the general sell-off on Friday. Technology, I've been playing the individual companies rather than the sector, but this is one where I think we could get short here and long there in the usual way. Okay. Oops. Let's pan out a little bit and see what I got. So I'm willing to get short here. Oh, I'm sorry. Why is that? Yeah, daily charts. I think I would get long here and short there. Yeah, that's the way we'll play that one. On the short side, I'm looking, if it gets through the belly of the dragon, it's going to come down to the PSAR and the Bollinger Band main. That would be the least surprising move. If it works to the upside, it's free and clear because it's already at all-time highs. Had 2 scoops on consumer staples, just waiting to see, standing aside. Utilities, I just watched that. Had 2 scoops long on XLV. Ended up on the gap down, cashing right in here. I'm ready to get long again if it gets through the yellow, and short if it gets through that yellow. So bi-directional. Really happy with this one. I thought perfectly played. 2 scoops long, cashed into the general anxiety, ready to go short. 2 scoops long and cashed into the anxiety on metals and mining. ExxonMobil, I was playing the energy sector and just missed this one. I just feel dumb. That should have been 2 scoops long, and then where I should have been was long in here and adding a second position. And then if you're long this one, I would have my stop here like at the 1-day low, and I think I would add another position if it breaks above the 200, and my target would be the hump of the dragon. So I'm looking at this as the target at 82. And I think we're back to no XOP. So we had 3 scoops long, and then I didn't get this. My stop was here in the crook, in the elbow right there. Oops. And didn't add the bubble. So that's so 3 scoops long and then covered, and that gets us back to Alcoa. So there we are, a little bit longer than usual, but there was a lot going on this week. So we'll see you in the chat room. Keep your risk measured and your powder dry. Let's see what the news does to us in the short term. This is a trader's market. Shorten up your time frames, manage your risk, pick the purest targets, and focus. And it'll sort out in a week or so.